So today we got a question from Seth G, that's the username on YouTube. It says, it may be a boring video, but I could really benefit from transitional concepts. I'm noticing that people I roll with, even newer white belts, that's what he says, fluidly pass into guard and they get to, or fluidly pass guard and get to side control. Then they transition to mount while he's feeling a little clunky and has less success. And so he's wondering if I have some ideas on that. So Seth, thank you for the question, and we'll jump into it. I'll use my lovely assistant, Mr. Adam Wilson, to demonstrate some ideas with you. I'll give you some techniques and some strategies, and then hopefully the strategies, even if you don't like the techniques that I'm showing you, can be beneficial to you and just as an idea. So with that said, let's jump into the ideas. All right, Seth, so you're basically saying you're passing, but then you're getting to side control and you're getting to mount, but you're having less success and you feel clunky, right? When you feel clunky with something, you can relax for a second. When you feel clunky, to me, what that's saying is like you're not really thinking about what's next. And this is why it's important to understand your game and have some sort of game plan. It doesn't mean that you always have to stick with it, but I imagine you're still probably within the first couple of years of training. And in that time frame, it's really good to have some decent moves for each position that you can go to. Basically your home base. So that if you get to the position, you know what your first attack is. Now, if it doesn't work, then you can always adjust. But I've always found it helpful. For instance, like competing, I've always found it really helpful to go into a competition having at least one move from each position that I'm going to try to do. And then if I don't need them or if I have to change the game plan, it's completely fine. But then if I go into the situation and I don't have a game plan at all, then it's like I'm trying to think on the fly, and it's not the right time to have to think about everything that you're going to do. And I think maybe that's what's going on. So we're passing, we're getting to side control, and then your issue is that you're now getting here and you can't get to mount quickly, right? Or get to it feeling smooth. Well, it's probably because you need to focus on one particular way to transition to mount first, and then go from there. I'll show you my personal favorite. So I wouldn't say my personal favorite. Maybe it would be. It's the one I've used the most. I like using it the most, so maybe it would be. From here, we go over top here. I like starting with an arm attack here, because I can usually get a good snag on these Kimuras and arm locks here. And so I like to do this because now I'm getting him to think about his arm, right? I'm getting him to think about a submission there. And then from here, what ends up happening a lot of times is if I can't get the submission, this arm becomes glued, and then I can begin to go here to the leg, and I pull down. Now from here, if he tries to like do anything with his hand, I can always go back here to do this, right? But what happens is he'll keep his arm glued most of the time, and I can step over. Now when we do this, this is the key. Most newer white belts and stuff like that, and even some young blue belts will get excited and they'll mess this up. When we do this, we pull down, and when I pull down, I step over and hook in. If I don't pull the leg down, if I just step over, I'll go right into half guard, right? So we pull down, and we step over and hook, let go, and then you shove your leg right into position right there. And I like that one. So again, that's the one I use a lot of times. And so a lot of times what if I'm looking for if you want to say what my A game would be like, it would be, let's say we do a double underpass. I double underpass a lot, boom, boom, boom. As I'm passing here, I'm getting side control and I'm immediately switching, right? So I can go for the arm attack here. He defends, boom, step over and hook. And that's a sequence, right? So your sequence doesn't have to be my sequence, but that's the one that I like the most, probably. That would be the most simple one that I've used. That was like my one that I still use as a black belt that I use as far back as a white belt. But what you need to think about, Seth, is you need to think about okay, how does my game connect? What pass do I have? What side control position do I like the most? And then what particular mount transition do I like the most? And then basically your goal then is to keep those in mind so that as soon as you're rolling with someone, like for instance in that sequence I just showed you, as I'm passing, I know that as soon as I get there and that arm starts to go up to set up a frame, I'm going to switch my hips to reverse case gatami, and I'm going to attack the arm. And then I know if he starts to block the arm, I can advance the position by stepping over. And it's about knowing what's next. That's really what it's about. You can probably increase your transition ability, your transitional ability, and get rid of that clunkiness by simply being knowledgeable about what you plan to do afterwards, right? Knowing what's next. And that's something that a lot of good jiu-jitsu players have, and it's something you'll develop over time where you roll with any good jiu-jitsu practitioner. They always know what they're going to do next. They always know what's going to happen depending on the situation. And so that's what my advice would be to you. That's the one that I like to do. I like to attack Kimura, step over, but take the concept behind it, know what's next, and immediately just sort of take together your game and piece it all together. So hopefully it helps you, Seth. I'm finished. Adam?
Adam.